Welcome to Piano Video Lessons, lesson 13 of year 1. In this lesson, we're going to talk a little bit more about bar lines and measures. So we've been seeing these in music, but I haven't really made them clear up to now because I'm trying to teach you one little concept at a time, and I'm sure some of you are wondering, and maybe some of you even asked in the question in the comment section about these things. But let's talk about them now. If you want to join me at pianovideolessons.com to get the printables and the lesson index, just click this information card in the corner or get all the information in the video description. So here we go. Music is divided into lines, as you've noticed before. And each of these lines helps to group the notes. We've talked about these teams of notes before. And every time it groups them into teams, we have words for these different things. We don't actually call them teams, we call them measures, but it's nice to think of them as a little team. So in between each of these lines, we have a measure. And that's just the group of notes that it falls in between the lines. Now, the lines that we use to divide these teams into measures are called bar lines. So here's a bar line, here's a bar line, here's a bar line, here's a bar line. And when we divide them into these groups, the most important thing is that they have equal amount of time in each group, in each measure. So the equal time that's been divided in this particular piece is going to be 4 beats. And it's going to be 4 beats of quarter notes. So I could write 1/4 like a fraction, 2/4. In music, if I write 4/4 like this is 4 quarters. So we've talked about this a bit in sort of vague detail before, but the idea is that a whole measure is the whole amount of time you could have in that measure. So it could hold a whole note, but in essence it holds for 4 beats. And so that's holding for 4 beats that are each equal to a quarter. So I could have 4 beats of a quarter note in this measure, and I would still count to 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can have any kind of team that's equal to 4. I could have 4 quarter notes. I could have a team that's just got one player on it, just one whole note. Or I could have a team with 2 half notes. That's 2 plus 2 is 4. And this is 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. And this is 4. Or I could have other things like 2 quarter notes plus a half note. That's 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. So what I'm saying here is that every measure will have 4 beats, and what we'll count is equal to the amount of time of a quarter. So another way you could write this, instead of putting the 4, 4, you could put 4 with a quarter note underneath it. So you're counting to 4, and what you're counting is the amount of time it takes to play a quarter note. So I know that's not always the easiest thing to get your head around, but we really just need to make sure we're counting to 4 in every measure. It doesn't necessarily need to be 4 quarter notes. It just has to be something that adds up to 4. Here are some examples. So now you might have also noticed in the workbook here there's all these rectangles hanging out in these measures that have no notes in them. And this is a timekeeper. This is a rest. This is a 4-beat rest. It's called a whole rest. And when you're resting, you're not doing anything. You're not making any sound. So anytime you see a whole rest in music, you're going to wait for those 4 beats to pass while doing nothing. So in this case, there's nothing happening. No notes are playing for the full 4 counts. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the second measure, after the bar line, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. In this next measure, still no notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I drew some notes in this measure, but they're 1, 2, 3, 4. And I drew a note here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each hand has to know what to do. It's either playing notes or it's resting. So you have to look in each of these measures to see if there are notes for each hand, and anytime there isn't any notes at all, you're going to see these whole rests saying don't play anything, don't worry about it, no notes for you right now. At the end of a piece, there's usually a double bar line to show you that the song is over, and I can just quickly show you an example of that. from a previous song. So here at the end of I Got This, you can see that we've got all these bar lines. Oh, there's those whole rests that I'm talking about. Oh, there's the time signature that tells you 4 quarter notes in each measure. Yep, 4. Oh, look, 1 + 1 + 2 is 4. Here's a 4-beat team of 1 note. And at the very end, we have this double bar line. So the double bar line tells us the song is over. But sometimes we want to play the song again. So instead of just a big double bar line, we might have a symbol that looks like this, which looks like a double bar line, except there's some extra things written in here. We've got some tiny dots in front, one in the second space and one in the third space. And these 2 dots are the repeat symbol. So if we see 2 dots pointing backward here, we repeat the piece of music. So all these tell us to do is go back and play it again. All right, let's put some of this to work. Let's turn over and have a look at this exercise page. The direction says, place a bar line between every group of 4 beats. Use a ruler. Draw a repeat bar at the very end. And then it says, clap the rhythms and sight read the music. But let's do the first thing first, which is draw bar lines. Okay, so it says to do them after every group of 4 beats, but let's just check that out. Look, sure enough, it says count to 4, and you're going to count each count equal to the amount of time of a quarter note. So let's have a look here. I've got 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. Now I'm going to draw a bar line. And if you studied the music before, you would see the bar line starts at the top of the treble staff. It goes straight down through the empty space in between, through the lines of the bass staff, and it stops on this bottom line. So now I see I've got a whole rest for the left hand and 4 Gs for the right hand. All right, let's see where the next team is going to end. So here's a whole rest. That's not too helpful because it could line up with anything here, but let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 4 1-beat notes. So I'll put my pencil down here and draw a bar line that goes from the top of the staff to the bottom. Next part, whole rest for left hand, and 2 + 2 is 4. So now I'll use my ruler and I'll draw a straight line going from top to bottom. Next, I have 4 beats in the right hand and a rest in the left hand. So I'll finish off this line with a single bar line. This is not the end of the song, this is just the end of the line. All right, let's continue. Whole rest for right, 4 notes in left. So let's go ahead and draw this line. 4 quarters in left, whole rest in right. Let's see what's next. Oh, 4 beats in 1 note and a whole rest. So let's not squish this too close here. Let's kind of leave enough space that it's not making anybody feel too closed in. And then 2 + 2 is 4 and a whole rest for the right hand. Draw the line. All right, here we go. We're doing great. I see 4 Gs and then 4 Cs and a couple of whole rests. So I'm going to draw a bar line here from the top to the bottom. So that's 4 beats for right hand and 4 beats for left hand. And then here, same thing, 4 beats of C and 4 beats of silence. And then I have 4 beats of F and a whole rest. And then I have 4 beats of C and a whole rest. So over here, I'm going to draw a double bar line with repeats because that was the other instruction. So 2 lines, you don't have to make one thicker than the other. And then a dot in the third space and a dot in the second space for both the treble, the top staff, and the bottom staff. So dot in the third, dot in the second. So that would send you back to do the whole thing over again. Now it says to clap the rhythm, so let's clap and count. This time, we're going to count to 4. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look what happens here. Instead of saying 1, 2, 1, 2, I'm going to assign the numbers 3, 4 to this half note. So 3, 4, that takes the same amount of time to say as 1, 2. So I'm saying 2 counts, but they are counts number 3 and 4 in this case. So let's do this first line, counting to 4 repeatedly and clapping. Always count how? Out loud. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Same thing here. Let's write it in, counting to 4 in every measure. I hope you're doing this with me. You'll learn so much more if you get out your pencil and do what I'm doing. So here's 1, 2 for a half note, and now I have another half note that holds for 2 beats, starting on 3, holding for 2 beats, beats 3 and 4. All right, let's go ahead and clap this line, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No problem. Let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. So I went really fast on this last line. If I was playing this whole piece through as one unit, I would go the same speed on every line. My one beat should carry me through the whole thing. And then it says to sight read the music. So I'm going to play this for you. I'm going to place my 5 here on line 2G. I need C and G and C. Then I'm going to place my thumb on on middle C with my left hand, and it's going to go C to F and F to C, and then I'm here with F to C, and then it says move your 3 down to F. So that's crazy. I'm going to circle it. Move my 3 down to F to finish this off, because I'm going to play the whole thing from the very beginning. All right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3. Left hand. C, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. C, 2. Move your hand. F, 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 F. C, 2, 3, 4. That was crazy. If you got that, I'm really proud of you, because that's a very advanced concept. Don't worry if you didn't. If you just played your 5 on that F, that's no problem. All right, that's the end of lesson 13. Join me in lesson 14, where we're going to learn to play at the park, and it has a repeat sign at the end.